All right, so here we go. 4 reasons why you should retire as early as you can. And number 1 is job stress. You probably don't realize how much stress you're really under when you're working. I thought the past 4 years that I really didn't have much stress. You know, I had trained the people under me well, and I thought, you know, I'm just kind of coasting along and just trying to move things forward, right? That's what you try to do. But once I retired, I felt like, oh my goodness, I don't have to worry about this stuff anymore. And I can go ahead and focus on other things that take priority. So the job stress is number 1, because in most cases, it kind of prohibits you from building good routines that are going to extend the health in your life. So if that makes any sense, when you're under stress, your blood pressure's up, it's bad on your heart, things happen, and when you get in retirement, you want to stay healthy as long as you can. And you want to be healthy, you want to be active, and stay that way. So having a job can sometimes prohibit things like that, like getting up in the morning and exercising first thing. You have to be really diligent about doing things like that, which, like myself, I was not. I'd get up 10 minutes before I had to get in the car and go to work. I was that guy. So anyway, number 1 is get away from the job stress and try to extend your healthy, active lifestyle as long as you can. The second reason is time. So you can always make more money. A lot of times people retire and they'll get a part-time job, or they'll do consulting work, or, you know, sometimes they'll even start another career. They'll start being a YouTuber, who knows, because YouTube is work. But what you can't buy time. You can always figure out ways to make a little extra money, but you can't figure out a way to make extra time. Time is a valuable asset. It's probably your most valuable asset. So you really only have so many weeks and months of active, healthy lifestyle that you're going to live. You hear about certain people who are 75. My neighbor is 74 years old, just had a knee replaced, sharp as a tack, drives himself everywhere, and still beats me at golf. So, you know, he is a real inspiration to me. But let's face it, past 75, when you start getting into your 80s, your active lifestyle that you can go out, like we're going to take a trip to Las Vegas next week, jump in the car, drive for 2 days, do some partying in Vegas, and then come home. You know, that's pretty tough when you get to be 80, 85 years old. So you only have a limited amount of time that you can go ahead and live that healthy, active lifestyle. The third thing I would say is probably your relationships. And building relationships, it takes time. You may want to build a relationship with your elderly parents or your aunts and your uncles, and that takes time to go to their house to try to help them with their routine and what they're doing in their lives, maybe taking them on trips, maybe taking them to the doctor. I talked about that in an earlier video, that one of the problems we're going to have when we get older is getting to the doctor, because we live in a very small rural community. So you need to think about that, the elderly people in your life who may need a little extra help. The other thing is your children. If your children are living nearby, or even if they're not, you know, you can take time to spend with the grandkids and go volunteer to do some babysitting while they go on a vacation, things like that. So, but that all takes time. And when you're working, you really don't want to use your vacation to babysit for their vacation. Babysitting, or even helping your kids build that patio that they wanted to make, you know, but they just don't have the time and the resources. So there's a lot of different things you can do to build these relationships, build your friendships. You know, I went ahead and got a membership at my local golf club, and I'm hoping that that'll generate a few relationships with people, groups that I can go out with and golf, and hopefully we'll build some new friendships there. course, you can always go fishing and go to the dock, and everybody's your friend as long as you're catching fish, right? But work on those friendships. They're going to be valuable to you. And also building the relationship with your spouse or significant other can be very important. All those years that, you just kind of got in that rut and you came home, you walked through the door, you put your lunch bag up, now you can actually spend quality time. And you might be surprised figuring out what your significant other does during the day to keep themselves busy, and you can all of a sudden be part of that. And that's important, but it's also important that you have personal space, personal time. So you got to learn to separate that as well. I think my wife and I are doing really good at that after month number 2. Of course, we've always gotten along really well. So go ahead and work on those relationships. The next thing you can do is go ahead and pursue hobbies and passions and things like that. When I left work, everybody said, well, Rick, what are you going to do? And I said, well, I'm going to play golf, I'm going to fish, and I'm going to build a YouTube channel. And that's what I'm doing here because I really like helping people. My first YouTube channel was a mid-success, and I'm going to keep it going. But helping people and the comments that I get back and the feedback, I just really enjoy that. And it's an extra income, believe it or not. Yeah, YouTube can be an extra income because people don't mind watching good, valuable content. Probably the biggest hurdle I had in my first channel was learning that, I'm not a filmmaker, I'm not an artist. Let's pass along good, valuable information and people will watch it. And that's what happened. But I have other passions. I really like graphic design. So what I do is while I'm walking on the treadmill, I have a Skillshare membership because you got to pay for that. And I sit there and I walk and I learn different things about the programs that I have and how I can adapt those to my YouTube channel. And it's really just been a lot of fun. I have a real passion for videography, anything with a camera. My goodness, I bought a drone. I got my drone license. I just bought the new, it's not new, but I just bought an Osmo Pocket 3 camera that has a gimbal that can follow you. And as soon as the weather breaks, I'll be doing a lot more outside in the yard, on the golf course, places like that. It's really fun. I've been practicing with it. I love that little camera.
Oh no, I'm not going to get wet.
Yeah, you get wet. Going in the water. So anyway, follow your passions because you don't have time to do that, or I shouldn't say you don't have time to do it, but you don't have time to pursue it as much as you would if you're retired. And you know what? Again, you only have so many healthy, active years left. So if you're going to pursue these passions, you need to get on it, guys. Because retirement is about taking risks. Unless you have a really big retirement fund, and a lot of people do, probably some people watching these channels have a larger retirement fund and struggle with pulling the trigger on when to go ahead and retire. Okay? I don't have that big fund. A lot of us don't. So it's about taking risk. And you got to be willing to take some risk when you go into retirement and when you're looking at your money. And again, if you're the type of person who is going to just completely stress out, maybe you do want to work a little bit longer. But the killers of retirement is one more year, right? We don't want to work that one more year. I did it. I can't say as I regret it because it put me in a financial situation where my wife is a little more comfortable, but you don't want to just keep doing that one more year thing. I worked around a lot of guys who said, I'm going to retire in 5 years. And you would talk to them in 5 years, when they were 60, and they'd say, I'm going to retire in about 5 years. And then you'd talk to them, they'd be 65. And all of a sudden they're at full retirement age. And then they would retire. And I'm going to tell you right now, after working in a refinery or somewhere where it's hard labor your entire career, these guys 35, 40 years, you know, they're not in great shape. And so again, that health factor comes in. So don't be afraid to take some risk if you can, if it fits you. And again, this is not financial advice. I don't know your situation, but there are some good reasons to go ahead and retire early. And go ahead and watch this video next, and we'll see you on the next one.